I remember the first time I noticed the scratching. It was late at night, the kind of stillness that wraps around you like a heavy blanket, pressing down, making every sound echo unnaturally. I had just finished a late shift at the diner and was finally home. The moment the door clicked shut behind me, a sense of dread gnawed at the edges of my mind, but I shrugged it off. After all, I was tired, and the long hours always played tricks on me. The scratching came from the attic, a faint, rhythmic noise that thudded against the ceiling like some desperate creature trying to claw its way through the floorboards. I tried to ignore it at first, shuffling into the kitchen and pouring myself a glass of water. The house loomed around me, shadows dancing in the corners, whispering secrets I couldn't decipher, but the scratching persisted, relentless, like clockwork. As I paced back and forth in the kitchen, each tick of the clock reverberating in my skull, I grimaced. What could it be? A raccoon? A raccoon didn't make sense. I didn't live near any woods, and besides, it sounded too deliberate, too angry. The sound climbed into my head, filling it with intrusive thoughts. I grabbed my phone and took a shaky breath, contemplating calling someone, anyone. But deep down, I feared the answer would be worse than the noise itself. Instead, I forced myself to climb the stairs toward the attic, each step creaking under my weight like they were whispering warnings. The hallway light flickered above me, casting long shadows that twisted and turned, and for a split second, I could have sworn I saw a figure darting away from the narrow beam of light. My heart raced, but I pushed forward, driven by equal parts of curiosity and dread. The wooden door to the attic loomed ahead, closed and foreboding. I paused, hand hovering over the doorknob. The scratching had stopped, leaving an eerie silence in its wake. It was disconcerting, as if whatever was up there held its breath, waiting for me to decide my fate. Bracing myself, I opened the door, the hinges protesting with an uneasy groan. A cold wave of air rushed over me, heavy with the scent of dust and decay. The attic was a graveyard of forgotten things. Old furniture draped in white sheets, boxers teetering precariously, their contents long forgotten. The moonlight filtering through a small window illuminated the space, casting ghostly shadows. I stepped inside, every nerve in my body screaming for me to turn back. I began to search, moving slowly, sweeping my flashlight across the dark corners. The silence was oppressive, and just as I began to convince myself that I was being ridiculous, I heard it again, soft, methodical scratching, more insistent this time. It seemed to come from behind an old wardrobe, its paint chipped and peeling. My breath quickened as I approached, the scratching growing more urgent as I reached out to push the wardrobe aside. My fingers trembled against the wood, but I gritted my teeth and heaved. As the wardrobe moved, a chill crept down my spine. What I revealed was dark, a small space I had never noticed before, a hole carved into the wall. It was almost as if it had been made just for the creature within to escape. Feeling a mix of revulsion and intrigue, I crouched down, peering into the void. That's when I heard it, a soft whimper, almost human, mingled with an unnatural raspy breath that echoed through the darkness. A wave of nausea washed over me. "Hello?" I called, voice barely above a whisper, the sound bouncing back at me. The whimper grew louder, evolving into desperate scraping, a plea for help. But something within me screamed that this was wrong, that whatever was behind that wall was not a victim. It was the source of the horror that had haunted me. The scratching turned into frantic pounding, and in that moment, with adrenaline surging through my veins, I ran. I bolted down the stairs, tripping and stumbling in the kitchen, barely able to keep my footing as I flung open the door, desperate to escape the nightmare I had awakened. Just outside, the moon hung low in the sky, bright and taunting, illuminating the horrified expression on my face. Panting, I turned back toward the house, my eyes drawn back to the attic window, where I swore I could see a figure, pale and twisted, staring down at me. And then the scratching started again, echoing from the attic, and I realized with ice-cold clarity that it hadn't been begging for help at all. It had been calling me all along.